instead of saying the K sound correctly, they do it in the front instead of the back. So instead of cat, it would be tat. So I just help them recognize like, oh, it's because you're saying it in the front instead of the back, and we practice, and so any of the sounds, that would be the speech part, or what I call articulation.
Mm-hmm.
And then the language portion of it is when students are like delayed in their language development. Maybe they don't understand that the different question words mean different things. So if I ask, where do you go to school? And they tell me their teacher's name. Well, that would be who teaches you at school, but they don't understand that who and where are two different types of question words. So I might work with them, or a lot of my students cannot speak in complete sentences. They only speak in one or two words, answers. And so we work on that. Sequencing, recalling details, anything that has to do with language development, we work on. So basically, all of the things that we do here on Hallo for adults, I just do it in a kid version.
Okay, but it seems to be a challenging job for you, teacher April. How do you manage it, or I can say, how do you what are your strategies to do that?
To do my entire job, or specifics?
Yes, specific, like you say who and where. Sometimes your students do not understand, or they say one or two words, and you help them speaking, the full or complete sentence.
Yeah. So, lots of strategies for all of that. I have a lot of visuals that I use. For example, if it's speaking in sentences, I might have, like 3 squares in a picture. And, because I want them to say a 3-word sentence. I want dog, even though that is not complete. It should be, I want the dog or a dog, but we have to start small. So we would start with, okay, can they even label the item that they're looking at? Do they know it's a dog? Okay, now they know it's a dog. So now we're going to have them say, want dog. And then I want dog. I want the red dog. So we start small with a very basic. And then once they get that concept, then we kind of start adding it on. I always tell my parents of students that are trying to build their vocabulary or speak in longer sentences, whatever your child says, repeat what they say, but add 1 word to it. So if the child says, oh, drink, say yes, red drink, or yummy drink, or I want drink, like add 1 more word to it, just so that they're hearing it. And because your receptive language, what you hear, develops before your expressive language, what you say. So just because our children aren't saying the words back to us, they're hearing it and they're going to understand it before their brain makes the connection of how to say it, which is so fascinating to me. I love that. I love just the idea of how it works. And so many times I tell my parents too, like when it comes to like saying their sounds correctly, if they have, maybe instead of saying their R's correctly, instead of an R, they've always said woo in place. Lots of kiddos have that problem. So instead of run, it becomes one, or I willy, instead of really. And the problem is that is one of the R's and the L's are one of the last naturally developing sound for a child. So by the time developmentally we say, okay, yes, this is a problem, they're already, 7, 8 years old, and that's a habit for them. So we have to retrain the brain, retrain the muscles of the tongue and inside the mouth of how to pronounce it correctly. And it's just like exercising. It's like working out. You have to do something over and over consistently every day in order to build up that muscle to do it correctly. Another example I use is, if you're able to type on a keyboard on a computer without looking at the letters, if you just know where they are, and all of a sudden somebody moves the Q, that is where your pinky is, up on the left. They switch it with, I don't know, say the T. Well, the first few times you do that, you're like, that is not right. That does not feel right. I cannot do that. But once you get in the habit of knowing, okay, that's where T is, eventually your pinky's just going to go there because he knows where it is. And it's the same thing with articulation. Just what we call drill and practice. We say these words over and over until it becomes natural and they don't have to think about it anymore. And so that's actually what I want to do with my one-on-one classes, is I want to be able to kind of treat it like I would a speech therapy session, where we just practice that sound and that word, the sound at the beginning or the sound at the end or in the middle. And then once we get it, we're going to turn it into a phrase. And then because just because you can say the word, if you then try to put that word in the sentence, I'm sure you've heard your students before, like they can say the word perfectly and then they say it in the sentence and you're like, what happened? You were saying it perfectly. It's just practice. It really is. So it's exciting to me to think about being able to do stuff like that with adults, because they understand so much more than kids do. And the students that are here on Hallo, like, they really want to learn. My students in school, my elementary kids, sometimes are like, I'm just here because I got to get out of class and we play games. It's fun, So unless they practice at home, I don't see fast progress with them sometimes. But my Hallo students, I do. And so that's very exciting and rewarding for me as a teacher.
That's great. That's pretty cool. Everyone is, praising your technique. So we have got another speaker, Najat, who lives in Minnesota. But
Yes.
Najat, would you like to talk to teacher April? She has got 4 children, and
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for inviting me. And my name is Najat. I live in the United States. I'm mom for 4 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I live especially in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Yeah,
and meet teacher April. Najat, she's also from which state again, teacher April?
I'm from Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Tennessee. Mhm.
I'm in Memphis, Tennessee. So that's in the corner next to Arkansas and Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Go on, Najat. If you have got any question, let me bring Dr. Mash. I think he got disconnected suddenly. Okay. And if you've got any question, dear viewers, we have got teacher April. I'm very happy and flabbergasted to bring her today and to listen to her. By the way, I've already shared to the Hello Global group. Some people are watching from there on the YouTube already. before
Excellent.
before I took your permission. Generally, I do that, and that's really my pleasure. Dr. Mash, welcome back. So I'm sure all of us have heard the teaching method of Teacher April, how he helps. Last night, our CEO June made an announcement that Hello is going to start a Hello Kids program. I think your technique would be amazing, Teacher April, and the other fellow
Yeah.
teachers.
Well, and that was my first when I first started teaching online, it was to teach children who were learning English, from another country. And I loved it, but it's a totally different game, because you have to be super animated to keep their attention. I have, in fact, I had these out for when we did our competition, but like, I have colored stars that they can get, and they can get a present, and so you do all these things to engage the students and keep them, focused on what's going on. But it was actually a huge blessing, because then when, with the pandemic and all of the schools shut down, and then all of my normal students went online and everything was virtual, I already knew how to do that. I had already had experience of working with kids online. And so many of my other therapist friends were like, this is so overwhelming. I don't even know how to do this. I'm like, you guys, it's no big deal. So it's been, I've enjoyed taking a break from the kids online and working with adults. But I'm happy to go back to kids. I don't know if I can completely let go of the adult side because the social aspect that is here, I'm not sure how they're going to replicate that, with the kids. So I'll definitely stay here for some of the social interaction and all.
Okay, that's great. So Najat, Flourish, Dr. Mash is back, and Katrina, if you've got any questions, it's a chance to ask her.
Hi, mommy. I have question,
Yes.
Mr. April. Do you still teaching the kids online? Because for my kids, they got ESL program at school, and they improve right now, and then still they not reaching the Native American. They feel challenged, so I registered them. If you hear selfing, and so expensive.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
And the only online platforms that I am familiar with for kids, is called Out School,
okay.
all one word, OUTSCHOOL. I know that there were a lot of teachers that were teaching ESL online with some of the companies that were based out of China. And when the Minister of Education in China put up some very strict restrictions on these, companies that had American teachers that were teaching English, they said, no more. If our children are going to learn English, it's going to be from our teachers. And so they shut all those companies down. And a lot of the teachers that were teaching, online went to Out School because they loved doing that, and that was a platform that they could go and create their own curriculum, their own material, and they, in some ways, similar to this for adults, but it's very classed. It's a classroom, so you can learn anything. It's not just for children that are learning more English. You can, if they're interested in Minecraft, or if they're interested in unicorns, you can search that topic and find something. Find a teacher that's teaching with that theme, and I would think that any kind of extra English exposure that you can give them. Kids are smart and they're fast. They pick
Yeah.
up on,
Yeah, that's smart.
on new languages very quickly.
Yep.
So, how long have they been in school in Minnesota?
Now 3 years.
Okay, yeah, and every ESL department or curriculum is different, state to state, and so a lot of it depends on how their particular school runs their program, how involved their ESL teacher is with their classroom teachers. I have come to adore the ESL teachers at my school because I have so many students, speech and language therapy students, that are also ESL students. And so they're great to collaborate with and really understand, what a student's struggle is. They can identify, oh, they're struggling with this. This is a second language issue that's making it hard for them, or this is definitely not a second language. There is something else going on. We need to dive further into this to see how to help them. So I don't know if they're this way everywhere, but I love the ones that are at my school. And anytime my ESL teachers make a referral, I don't have to ask many questions because I trust them that much that what they're saying about it not being just a second language thing, they're usually right on target.
Okay, teacher April and Najat, what I understand from Najat's question, possibly she's looking for a teacher who can help her children. So Najat, if you can book lesson with the teacher April, then your children can learn from her in one class, which will be
Mhm.
really an amazing idea. I believe that. Okay.
Yeah, I believe so. Thanks.
And
Yeah, I will do that.
I know that I know teacher Jamie has mentioned that she has had some one-on-one classes with children. In fact, I think one of her students
Mhm.
booked a one-on-one with me. I didn't even realize it. And I opened the one-on-one class, and there's this young girl, and I'm like trying to figure out how old she is, what's going on, and then she tells me about teacher Jamie, and it's starting to click, like, oh, I think she's in high school. Okay. So, and we talked, and it was fine, but I have heard of some teachers, as long as the parent has signed the child up for the class, it's fine. um
Mhm.
so yeah, I'm totally open to that. If you click on my profile, you can see right now I just have open on Sundays, but you can always request a time that works. And
Mhm.
if it works for me, then I'll accept it. If not, um, we can try and figure something else out. If
Well,
that's what you want to do.
yeah, I
That's
will do that. Thanks.
that's great.
Yeah.
So, dear viewers, if you haven't followed teacher April yet, follow her, join her, and book her lesson. I'm sure you're going to learn a lot of things. I can guarantee.
And have lots of fun. It's not learning if it's not fun.
Exactly.
That's my philosophy.
Okay, teacher April, do you speak in any other language other than English?
Un peu. I speak a little bit of French.
Oh,
I we actually my husband and I lived in a small town in France for about, I think it was 4 or 5 months, and then lived as missionaries in Togo, West Africa for almost 4 years, where French is like the government language that they use. So, but that has been over 10 years ago. So I I have some of it still, but not a lot. And then I also know quite a bit of American Sign Language. So that's not a verbal language, obviously. Um, yes, it's when you use your words to speak. And I actually do use it with some of my lower functioning students because, again, sometimes it can be a visual when I don't have a picture. So, if we're talking about a car, I can do this, or if I say look, or they all know this means stop, when I say stop, or sit down. So I have my little my cues, I guess you could, my visual cues that I use with sign language. So that's the only other two. I would love to learn Spanish because I think like half of my school come from Spanish speaking homes. And when we have our meetings for my students, we have to have, every student or every parent of my therapy students have a meeting with me every single year to update their goals and the things we're going to work on and all. And for a lot of those, we have to have an interpreter for us because the parents don't speak any English. And so many times I'm like, oh man, if only I knew Spanish, I could at least kind of follow along instead of just having to wait, But maybe someday I will.
okay, that's great. Is there any other question from anyone, please? Rajat or Flourish or Katrina or Dr. Mash? If not, I'm going to ask a few more questions. So, how many minutes you have got for us, teacher April?
Um, oh, nothing specific. You're just keeping me from organizing our craft room downstairs that is in total chaos.
It can wait for half an hour. Okay.
It's fine. Yes, it's fine.
Okay. So I believe that you have visited quite a few countries, and
Mhm.
may I know which countries have you visited up to now?
Um, okay. Let me think back to, I don't even know what the first ones I went to. The one that pops in my head first, I spent a semester in Greece, actually. The university that I attended had a program where you could, the professors would travel with you. You would live in this country, but you would take your classes, in English as if you were at the university. It's just when you're not in class, then you get to be a tourist and see all the cool things. And I loved my time in Greece. I was so much fun. So from there, I visited quite a few countries before going back to the States. So places like Germany and Austria, Italy, of course, France. That might have been it on that trip. Nope, there's another one in there, but I can't think of what it's called right now. Anyway, and then I told you about when we did language school. And so we traveled to several different places in France, during that time. And then when we lived in Togo, there in West Africa, we visited a couple of the countries that are around Togo, like Nigeria, Ghana. My second child was actually born in Ghana. So we jokingly say that he's our African American son because he was born in Africa. Although I think technically we have to say he's an American African. I think we have to say it the other way around. And so what else? Oh, Burkina Faso. That's the one that was just north of us. We briefly went into there. Trying to think, that may be all we went to in Africa. And then my husband has some relatives that live in Canada, so we've been there. We took our honeymoon to Cancun, so we've been down to Mexico. But I haven't been really much of South Africa. I mean, sorry, not South Africa, South America, or any of like the Eastern Europe, like China, Russia, all that kind of stuff. I haven't been anything that direction. So I still have plenty of places.
Teacher April, it looks like that you had a love marriage.
A love marriage?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Did
What do you
you
mean
did you elope?
Oh, no, you would think, you would think so, but no, we didn't. We went to the same university. That's how we met.
I see.
And so because he's from Michigan and I'm from Tennessee, but we met at school in Arkansas.
The school should be thankful for meeting two different souls. Yeah.
Right. And so he actually he loves to travel. He's a travel junkie. And he loves adventure. And so I think he is a big reason why I have been to all these places. It's because he wanted to go. So I was like, okay, let's go.
That's great. So he's also a teacher, as you said, right?
He is. He teaches 5th grade science.
The same school?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And which grade do you teach?
I have all grades. So I have some that are in preschool. I've had as young as 3 years old, and then all the way through 5th grade. And usually the 5th graders are around 10, 11 years old. So any of those ages in there, that's what I'm working on right now, or working with.
So as a teacher, what is your greatest strength and weakness?
As a teacher, I think my greatest strength is my connection with my students. So it's very important to me that I acknowledge how my students are feeling or how they're doing that day. I want them to feel that I care about them, that I'm interested in their lives and what they're doing. Because when students feel that you have a relationship with them, they're more willing to engage with you and to do what you're asking them to do, even if it's hard. And I have some students with multiple disabilities in my elementary schools, which makes them very emotional sometimes when things are very hard. And so one of my strengths is talking them through how to calm down, and it's okay, and everybody makes mistakes, you know, so I'm a very caring teacher. My weakness is time management. Not only in my sessions, if I have a good rapport with students, you know, either at school or even on Hallo, like I don't want to stop. I just want to keep going. Let's keep doing this. And also just in getting paperwork and cleaning a bedroom, you know, I want to do what's fun. And so time management is a struggle when you have to do things that aren't fun. So that's what I would say.
That's really cool. Has anyone got any more question for teacher April?
It can be anything. I'm pretty open.
Flourish. Katrina.
Yeah,
Yeah, Najat.
yeah, it's not question, but I want to edit something since
Sure.
April talking about disability and then how to manage your emotion. So I have kids. She's she's non-verbal child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hear you talking about therapy. So I just my head bumping on my child about therapy. And first of all, when my child started not talking and she stopped, she's now autistic child.
Mm-hmm.
I was shocked. I say, how can communication with her, or how can I tell her what I need to tell her?
Mm-hmm.
And now she at school. Every Monday I have to sit with the teacher 1 hour. I learn a lot from them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they teach me how to communicate with her by a picture. And
Yeah.
then they teach me, yeah, I got so fun with her. Now we buy toy, we understand her, she understands us.
Yay!
Without talking, yeah.
It's very exciting, right?
Yep.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
my job. That's what I get to do with a lot of my students. And I love it. I love it, that moment when the child realizes they understood what I was thinking, you know, whether it's what they say or it's because they're pointing to a picture or they push a button and they're able to communicate. Yes, I love it. How old is your daughter?
5 years now.
She's 5, and you've already figured out kind of a way to communicate. That's amazing.
We have book, like we got all pictures. She love it. Like,
yes.
Let's play. We have picture. Let's eat. Let's drink. So she's non-verbal. So she just point the picture and they grab the picture for us and show us what she wants.
Yes.
I say, yeah, finally my emotion is normal now. Before I stress, I don't know.
I'm sure. And
Yeah.
what's so exciting about that too is that her language will continue to grow. You know, even if it means that you add more pictures, or she will start adding 2 pictures together to explain, you know, like, I want the red ball, you know, not the blue one or whatever, you know, like she'll start adding, and it is possible that she may get some verbal skills, you know, eventually. Not all students do, but some of our autistic students who start out nonverbal become verbal later in life. It's just something finally connects in the brain that they're able to do that. So that's always a possibility. But even if she doesn't, I mean, like I said, there's so many options out there for our nonverbal friends, whether it's simple pictures or whether it's an actual device that they can push certain buttons that will create sentences for them. I've seen some amazing videos of students and adults that are able to communicate these amazing thoughts, but none of it ever comes out of their mouth. It's fascinating, very fascinating.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, I'm thrilled though that you have her in a school where they are working with you and teaching you, because that doesn't happen everywhere in the States. And so that's amazing that they meet with you every week. So
Yeah, I love it. I love
agree.
it. Yeah, I love her school. When she 2 years and 3 years, they not communicate in person, just by email, and then they say, yeah, she increased like this, and she can do it. She can request bathroom or something. Just email.
Mhm.
I say, when I see her, she's not what I want to do, like with her. I say, no, this is not Noura. What they say is like something else. I got crazy. But she, when star 4 first, I met with the other school. It's amazing. They teach me a lot toy about her specific. She's non-verbal. Now we have toy copy the sound. Even she has sounds like baby sound. The toy it's copy, and then she look at the toy, saying, "What? The toy gonna copy me?" And then her sound is increasing more. Yeah, like she tried to speak, but she doesn't yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a very important
Now
word.
she's with me. Yeah.
Oh, that's so exciting. I'm so glad that you shared that with me. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, you're doing a great job as a mom, looking for ways that you can help her, and having her in a school that is helping her and communicating with you. It's hard when, you know, when I have students that, like, I do have some students that have what I call their communication device. They're not verbal, but they use a device where they can push a button, it'll say words. And the only time they use it is when they come to work with me. And I'm like, you guys, they're never going to learn it if the only time they're speaking, they're practicing this language is with me 2 times a week. You know, like, we've got to have it out in the classroom. They need to take it home. They need to bring it back. So the families that are doing things at home that, you know, are the same things that they're doing at school, or maybe they're doing it at the daycare, like, the more environments that you can practice the same language, the faster they're going to learn it. It's just like us, you know, if I go to a new, you know, like when I went to France for language school, if I only spoke French during my class and not outside of class, I'm not going to really learn it as fast as if I force myself to only speak French. No matter if I go to the grocery store, I speak French. If I go to buy bread, or I go to the pharmacy, you know, even if I don't think I speak it well, practicing that,
Yeah.
I'm going to learn it so much faster. And so these students that have more opportunities to practice, they do learn it faster, and it's very exciting to watch.
Yeah. And my child, she's now 7. When she's 6, she say, "Mommy, practice, practice, make perfect." So let's practice, mommy, every time. So her
There
teacher
you go.
teach her. Yeah. She just
That's
repeats,
wonderful,
practice,
though.
practice, make perfect. So she teach us every night. We practice with her, and now she's perfect.
Oh, that's great. That's great that she
Yeah.
was motivated. So many times it's the parent that is
Mhm.
trying to motivate the child. We need to practice. My own child, I'm like, we need to practice your spelling words. Oh, right now, I'm like, yes, right now. We have to do this every day so that when it comes time for the test, you will know it. And there have been weeks where we haven't practiced and he hasn't done as well. And so I have to show him, look, see what happened? We didn't practice enough, did we?
Mhm.
And so it's a good lesson for them to learn, you know, as kids. But when you
Yeah.
have one that's motivated,
Yeah.
do not slow them down. Go with it.
Yeah.
That's
That's
really
wonderful. Thank you for sharing.
that's really cool in a teacher, April. I think Najat is not only a mom; she's also a good teacher for her children.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
and not just a teacher for her children, but I guarantee that there are people in her community that see the things that she does with her children and sees how she interacts with them. So she's an influence in her community as well, I have no doubt. And that's awesome.
Yeah, and Nora teacher, when she's autistic, she see me. I have the program who translates Arabic to English, and then when I try to speak her first time, I have to translate, and then she say, "What you doing?" I say, "I translate. I try to speak with you." She said, "Awesome." So
Oh,
it's
that's
fun to
wonderful.
learn. Yeah.
So fun. So fun.
That's cool. Any other question, Najat or Flourish or Katrina or Dr. Mash? I think everyone is a good listener. They're listening to your conversation. I'm sure many people are listening and they're saying good things about you, teacher April and Najat. Welcome, Zubair, Doneka, Marcos, Hiba, Mohammed Al Juni, Buket, EJ, and all the people who are listening us. Thank you very much, dear viewers, for joining. If you have got any question about teacher April or about her course or classes, you're more than welcome to ask here on the comment section. I'm sure she'll be happy to read it.
Somebody said they adore my English.
Buket.
Yes. So come to my classes. You can hear more of my English.
Yeah, but by the way, teacher April is a Native American teacher. So obviously
Yes.
her English would be amazing. Okay. All right. So, teacher April, I've got a few other questions if it is okay to ask you. Yeah.
Okay, just a few more, then I really do have to go. My kids are going to be coming up here soon saying, Mama, we're hungry.
Oh, haven't you cooked the lunch yet or dinner?
It would be dinner. No, we haven't. We had a very late lunch today. So dinner will probably be about in the next 30 minutes. So I have maybe 10 minutes left.
Have you already cooked it? What's the local time in Tennessee at the moment?
It is 6:05 in Memphis. Now
Uh,
Tennessee has two, oh goodness, is it?
Time
Yeah,
zone?
just two different time zones.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you're in Memphis. Okay.
I'm on the west side. Tennessee's a very long state. And so you have Memphis that is in the far east corner.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Nashville, which most people know about Nashville, it's in the middle. It's still the central time zone like me. And then you have like Knoxville and some other places, East Tennessee, and that's when the time changes.
Okay. I'm 5 hours ahead of your time. It is 5 past 11 in the UK. Okay.
Okay.
Which is your favorite food, teacher April?
Somebody asked me this the other day, and I don't know. I don't have necessarily a favorite food, but I will say this is my favorite food, not because it's my favorite flavor, because it's my favorite tradition. And that is that for a long time, we don't do it every single week, but for a long time, my family has made pizza on Friday nights. It's a family thing. We make our own dough and we roll it out and we decide what ingredients to put on it. And we often watch a movie as a family while we're eating the pizza that we made. So our homemade pizza is probably my favorite food.
That's great. And what would be the second, most favorite after pizza?
Um, I enjoy Mexican food. I really like
Tacos?
tacos, chips and salsa. I mean, even like chimichangas or burritos that have some kind of sauce maybe poured over them, flautas.
Mm-hmm.
I like lots of Mexican
Did you
food.
ever try any Indian food or Southeast Asian countries' food?
I have, I have. When we lived in Togo, we would often go to Ghana to visit and kind of get a break from things because they speak English in Ghana. And there was an Indian restaurant that was in the area of town that we would always stay at. And I remember going there with some of my friends, and but I don't remember what I ate. I just remember going there. I want to say that I remember there being some kind of bread that we would dip into things or something, and I think I remember that, but I don't remember any of the actual dishes that we ate. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That's not a problem. Okay, dear viewers, we're having conversation with the US Hello teacher, Teacher April. Uh, Thanks for coming once again. Though it is not planned, but I really enjoy any Hello teacher's presence in my live stream. And
It's fun. I agree.
if you have got any questions for her, please do ask before she hops off. And please follow her, support her, join her lessons. If it is a public live stream, you can always join her. And if you like to
Yes.
book her lesson one-in-one or any live class, more than welcome. Would you like to share us once again what time and which days you're offering your lessons and classes?
So my time zone is the Central Standard Time, and all of my classes are morning time for me because of my regular work schedule. So I have a class that runs on Saturdays and Sundays, 9:30 my time. And that one is for reading children's books. We go through one book in each class. And then Tuesday mornings at 7 a.m. Central Time, I'm doing a conversation class. It's called Would You Rather? So we'll spin this wheel. It'll be like, would you rather have ice cream for the rest of your life or have cake? You know, just silly, fun questions. And then you have to explain why you would choose one or the other. And then Thursday mornings, again at 7, is when I'm going to do my articulation or my pronunciation class. So I called it Articulation April. And we're going to be working very specific with phonemes or sounds, the individual sounds that are in the English language, and turning them into words, sentences, and then conversation. So it's a smaller class because I wanted to be able to give individual attention to the students that choose to be a part of that. And then I've always got my one-on-ones. If anyone wants to work very specifically on a sound, that's kind of my niche is pronouncing things correctly. If you want to neutralize your accent, I can definitely help you with that because I understand all of the articulators, all of the parts inside your mouth that need to move a certain way in order to change a sound. And so I can help you do that. Or if you have kids that want to improve their English, I can do that in a one-on-one class as well. So that's what I have to offer, and I'm excited, very excited.
That's great. Thank you very much, Teacher April.
All right, Teacher Rahat Ali, I'm going to officially say
Sure.
adios, auf Wiedersehen,
Bon appetit.
a biento.
Thank you very much.
Till next time. I can say that for sure.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much for joining. Okay. I'll message you later. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yes, sounds good. All right. You guys have a great conversation.
Thank you. Okay, that was Teacher April from the USA, Memphis, Darius, and Najat. Welcome back, Dr. Mash, Flourish, and Katrina. So Najat, meet Katrina, Flourish, and Dr. Mash. Dr. Mash, are you there?
Of course, I'm listening very carefully.
All right, I know that you're a good listener like me. Okay, so Najat is my new subscriber. She lives in Minneapolis, as she said.
Wow, that's quite interesting.
And I'm sure that you have heard all our conversation. And Flourish, welcome back.
Thank you, teacher. I'm also listening. Hi, Najat. Nice to meet you here.
Hi, nice to meet you too.
So Flourish is from the Philippines. If we can introduce to each other, would be great. Flourish.
Yes, Najat, I'm from the Philippines. Yeah. I'm also a freelancer. How
Yeah,
about you? Mhm.
I'm from Somalia.
Oh,
Yeah.
working mom.
So Najat, how long have you been living in the United States? I forgot. Is it 3 years? 4 years?
No, 5 right now.
5 years.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, now 5. But my kids, they stay in Kuwait. So I spent just me and my husband 2 years here without any kids.
Okay. So you brought them 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Mesh, are you there?
Of course, teacher, I'm listening.
Okay, Dr. Mesh, meet Najat from Minnesota, and Dr. Mesh is from Cambridge, UK, Cambridge University.
Yeah. Hi, Dr.
Hello,
Mash.
Najat.
So if you need any medical suggestion, health, medication, Dr. Mesh is here, our online doctor.
Awesome.
Hopefully.
And Najat is studying pharmacy technician, Dr. Mesh.
Oh, wow. She's doing, I think, the diploma program out there.
Yeah.
That's quite interesting.
Which semester are you now, Najat? Third semester, is it?
And I finished 2 semesters and then I stopped. Right now I'm break.
You
I'm
took
going back in September. Yep.
you took some break. Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
And Dr. Mesh is quite, knowledgeable person about any medication, pharmacology, interaction,
Wow.
diagnosis,
Much.
clinical pre-screening.
Mhm.
Uh,
That's awesome. I'm gonna follow him.
yes, he does very often live streams. You can always join, and all his live streams are so knowledgeable
Medical.
and medical related. Yeah, only the
Wow.
only like healthcare professionals join most of the times. I join if I'm free. Definitely, I join him, and also sometimes some other PhD holders, also join, like Dr. Rosie from India. Right, I've seen her very often, and few other people, who are really dedicated to learning English. Because Dr. Mash very often, gives information about the immigration to Canada and scholarship programs.
Most of the time, people would used to join me just because of getting some extra information regarding OET, might be IELTS, or else Canadian immigration.
Exactly. Katrina, are you still there? Or maybe she has gone to sleep.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, Katrina, you'll be happy to know that in Canada there is a landed immigration for the nurses. Dr. Mash, would you like to give some information?
Definitely. I mean, there is a very huge demand for nurses these days out here in Canada. Not right now, but I would say when I was in Canada, I had to tell out here, but just because of using that multiple times, I'm always induced for that particular language. Yeah, there is an interesting immigration. It is in a state called Saskatchewan. It is in the corner part of Canada. So due to some lackage of nurses, they're like hiring most of them. So to get the entry, you had to qualify the nursing license exam. And after qualifying the license exam, you can get the internship registration in a state hospital. So you had to complete 1 year of technical training or else state training in that particular state in a government hospital. After completing your 1 year training, then you'll be issued the license and you can be a registered nurse. The minimum qualification